He's deep cover. Last I heard, he's tracking the syndicate.
Yeah, last I heard he was 3 over par.
Last I heard, sounding like someone torturing kittens.
Last I heard, my gym makes money.
I heard 5.
You heard wrong.
You heard him. Those were his last words.
Last I'd heard, he'd been defeated again.
Last I heard, Joe coaches women's wrestling.
POTUS is awake?
Yeah, last I heard.
I heard that.
Last I heard he lived around here somewhere.
Last time that I'd heard, you had,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Last I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Lee Dempsey, alongside the Gridiron Gang. Well, not so much today, and I apologize for missing last week's episode. The boys were a little preoccupied last week, had some stuff going on, and I was not prepared enough to do the shows myself, so I decided not to do it last week, and I apologize for missing that one. That will be the only one we miss this year, that's for sure. And this week, I am going to be riding solo. We had to do it a day late, so the other guys are also, just busy on Wednesdays. So I decided I'm just going to plug one along real quick. But yeah, both of those not having a show last week and then missing these other guys this week. That's on me. That's my bad. That all comes down to just decisions that I had to make, and unfortunately, they're not on this episode just because I had some stuff going on. So I was like, I'll just do it when I'm feeling better. So that is today. That is right now. And thank you all for joining me as we go wrap through week 7 and week 8 of the National Football League. So thank you all once again. Let's get in some news right away. Yeah.
News flash, asshole!
Yes, the news, the great old grand news. Marcus Mariota likely to get the start with Jaden Daniels' injury this week. Mike Evans to miss most of the season. And Bryce Young expected to miss this week. So Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, expected to get his first start of the season. Darren Waller went to the IR with a pectoral strain. They originally thought it might be worse. Could have been season-ending injury. But yeah, it turned out to be fairly all right. Didn't need to miss the rest of the season, thankfully, but luckily, or unfortunately, I should be saying, he went to the IR. And the worst news, Doug, the muscle hamster Martin, passed away this last week at the ripe age of 36. Pretty tragic story behind that. I won't get into the absolute details because I don't know everything, so I don't want to speculate or whatever, but unfortunate, extremely unfortunate for the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back. It seemed like it was just yesterday that he was still playing, so very unfortunate news there. We can make our transition into the best and worst of the week. This will be a quick one. Travis did send me some videos to send for his recap and preview of the Packer games, as well as his power rankings. So I'll get into my best and worst of the week right away. We'll get worst of the week, Carson Wentz. Looking terrible. And I guess I'll just break into a whole Vikings game. One, just overall, Vikings should have won that game. They blew so many opportunities. I mean, 6 trips to the red zone and only 1 touchdown is pretty terrible. You got the snap that went over Carson Wentz's head. But it's like, keep in mind that Blake Brandel, that's his second time ever playing center. So I want to give him a ton of credit. He's actually played very well for not having the experience of doing so. But like that snap over, and then there was a holding call on him later that ended us kicking a field goal rather than having a touchdown there. But Carson Wentz throwing 2 picks. He gets an intentional grounding when CJ Ham's wide open, who probably could have, at worst case scenario, gotten you probably close to the first yard or a first down marker. So it's very frustrating. Frustrating game. This team can win these games that they've lost for sure. So it's one of those two where, once again, Carson Wentz has been given the start for Thursday night against the Chargers. Max Brosmer is the backup, and then J.J. McCarthy is the emergency third-string quarterback. Once again, same scenario as it was for Week 7. I think if anyone's listened to around the league or listened to us at least, knows that the J.J. McCarthy high ankle sprain was like, all right, it's not as bad as we think. It's 2 to 4 weeks. And then ever since then, it's like, well, it's always been 6 weeks because it's been that long now. He went out in week 2. So it's very frustrating to not have that clarity of what's going on and what I don't know what the future is. But the fact that they're sticking with Carson Wentz, they're not going out there and saying like, okay, Brosmer's significantly better than Wentz because we don't really know that. And he's still a rookie. He's got less experience than JJ does. But I'm more curious to see of why Brosmer's may not give it a chance. I thought there'd be a good chance that he would start against the Chargers if JJ couldn't for any reason. So to see Carson Wentz get the nod once again was somewhat surprising, but the fact that they haven't traded for a different quarterback to at least upgrade from Carson Wentz shows me that JJ truly will come back at some point. They believe that he'll be able to have a significant amount of games this season, and they just want to make sure that he is truly as healthy as possible. You don't want to throw himself out there, risking potential worsening that injury, that high ankle sprain, or getting hurt again on top of it. But hopefully all soon, because it's been very frustrating as a Viking fan to see the little progress throughout the season. It's a very promising season, and just injuries have decimated this team as of recently, and it's very frustrating. But high notes of that game, though, I will say Jordan Addison went off. He had a phenomenal game. Also, actually, should make my worst really just being the fan that made the extremely racist comments to Isaiah Rodgers in his DMs. I don't know. I think it's actually crazy to one DM a player and blame them for anything. Use the language that he used, like have that much hate over a game that technically doesn't involve you at all. Like you don't matter as a fan. A single fan does not matter. Collectively you do, but a single one to go out there and try to like, oh, I'm gonna say all this bullshit and that's gonna change something anyways. Like I just don't get what's the point. Like, yeah, it sucks we lost. It's a very frustrating season so far, but to even take anything out on somebody like that, I think is absolutely disgusting and uncalled for. So, and then the fact that Isaiah Rodgers didn't expose the name of that person should be kissing his ass for doing that, because he'd probably, I don't know, good chance he doesn't have a job, come Monday morning, and then losing friends, and you know what I mean? Like that should ruin your life, honestly. But I think the fact that Isaiah Rodgers didn't expose that speaks volumes of him. So, yeah, extremely ashamed to see that, especially in my organization fandom. I don't know if I worded that correctly. But yeah, that's about all I got to say about that one. For my best, Joe Flacco's start for the Bengals since being traded, going there just a few days, gets 242 yards and 3 touchdowns and goes in there and beats a rival. So that's pretty cool to see him make, the best of the old guys. He had an edge on Rodgers. That's fun. That's a great game to see there. And yeah, hope it keeps on coming. I'll play Travis's best and worst of the weekend. I think it's mostly going to be the Packers. Packers clip here. I don't know if he actually had a best and worst. We'll see here. Oh, 1 second. I wanted to prepare these ahead of time. But only lets me share one at a time. All right.
All right, let's get into Week 7. Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers. Another game where the Packers played down to their competition. There's no other way to say it. Every week, this seems to happen where they just play down to their competition, and I'm getting pretty sick of it. Let's see here. Faced a double-digit deficit looking at halftime, going into halftime, and luckily with 7 seconds left, Matt LaFleur decides to get fucking aggressive, hit a 25-yard pass to Romeo Dobbs to set us up for a 61-yard field goal, which the substitute teacher from a week ago comes out and just drains for the Packers franchise fucking record, which not only was big for him, but it was big for that game and the momentum in that game. So we come out after halftime, we get the ball, you're thinking, all right, here we go. We only one possession game, and what do? 3 and out. 3 and out. Oh, there I go thinking that we would have momentum again. Why would I ever think that? Why would I ever think we'd have good momentum going into the third quarter with that, right? No. I know. Luckily, they pulled their head out of their ass and they got it together. And they started scoring points again. They went from scoring 6 in the first half to 21 in the second half to actually get us to 27 again, where if we score 27, it seems like we do win, because every game this year we have won with 27 points. It's kind of crazy. With that being said, the second half, Micah Parsons just took over that game on defense. If we don't have Micah Parsons there, we do not win that game. He is a man amongst boys, and I just got to say, I'm impressed. I am impressed with him. We don't have him, we don't win that game. Jacoby Brissett comes down the field, wins that game for them if he doesn't wreak havoc in the backfield like he did on that last drive of the game. Again, Matt LaFleur, he was about to kick a field goal and tie the game again, but Jordan Love says, nah. Let's go for it. Don't you trust us? What are we doing here? Why are we going for a tie when there's 2:30 left in the game and you know Arizona's getting the ball back and you know they're going to come down and either kick a field goal or score a touchdown to win the game and beat us. So go for it. Play aggressive. Play to win. And that's exactly what they did. Jordan Love lines up shotgun. Tucker Kraft, one-on-one matchup, does an out route. Taps the sideline for a 15-yard completion, man. That guy is a beast. Tucker Kraft, he should be getting 15 targets a game, and I don't know why he doesn't. Why doesn't he? Oh, because Matt LaFleur says, our offense we spread it around. That's just the way it works. Well, if you utilize your best players more and try to get them the ball more, you're probably going to be better off. Just a thought. When you don't do that, the defenses are glad, even if they're predicating what you're trying to do, they're trying to take that away from you. And if you just say, you know what, we're not even going to try it because we know what you're trying to do, well, then you're working into their favor. Like, what are we doing here, Matt? Be better. Please. God, that game was so frustrating. But down the stretch, they did play well, so I got to say hats off to them. And congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for moving to 4-1-1. Granted, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. And it's better to have a teaching moment in a win than a loss. So we'll take it. And that's the synopsis for this week.
Thank you, Travis. Yeah, that was different to do a clip rather than just the one-on-one or the box of both of us talking live at the same time. But yeah, 100%. Great breakdown by Travis there. That Packer game, like you said, is playing down. They're always playing down to their opponent, and they've been actually doing that for years, I feel like. And it just seems like it's something totally unnecessary that they need to do. But they do it over and over and over every game, it seems like. And I don't know. I guess I would say the Vikings are like that, but they're not. They because they don't win a lot of those games. All right, we'll move into power rankings, shall we?
Power rankings.
Yes, the power rankings. Yeah, I'll get right off the bat here. So we're just starting without pitching it to someone else. Right off the bat here, we got the Chiefs, the mighty Chiefs. Yep, they seem to be coming back, starting their season off right. Starting their starting their season off slowly and getting right back into their natural form. Rashid Rice comes in and just has a hell of a game. He's been great since his return for that game since his return. And yeah, shows why he's such a key part of that offense. Number 4, I got the Colts stepping up. The Colts are beating good teams, man. They're starting. That was a surprise one there. I didn't think that was going to happen against the Chargers, and they make it work. JT's on fire. Just they have so many weapons, and all their weapons are firing. Like everything's clicking. Warren's playing well. JT's playing well. Danny Dimes playing well. That defense is playing good enough right now. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything real spectacular. But hey, I think they're a top 10 defense at least, and seem like they're enough to do some damage in the long run. Maybe they're for real, or maybe the Chargers are just charging. I don't know. Seems like they're kind of dropping down, unfortunately, because I was excited for them. Number 3, I have the Eagles. Still finding ways to win. Vikings did a very good job of shutting down that run, not really giving Hurts anything to go with, not giving Saquon anything to go ahead with, but they gave up the passing yards, that's for sure. Finally, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith both had great games. Both had a great game. So Hurts, they forced Hurts to throw the ball, and it worked to, seal that game for them. So they find ways to get it done when they need to. Number 2, the Bills. The Bills on that bye, so it didn't matter too much for their movement. For this sake, they're still just the mighty Bills. And number 1, the Lions remain. They are still absolute dogs at the top of the leaderboard here. We see why that game against the Buccaneers, just electric, dominating fashion that they win that game. They show that they're still reckoned with. And that Packer game might have been just a fluke, I'm very curious to see what the Packers do against the Lions this next go around that they have. I'm not sure what week that is, but looks like that's going to be a very, very interesting one. Let's see, Travis's here. Let me make sure I pause it. All right. Travis's power rankings. All right. Here.
All right, let's get into our power rankings for going into week 8. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't really think there are any good teams in the NFL right now. Like, there's good teams. Well, I wouldn't say good teams. I would say above average teams, and mediocre and really bad teams. There's no, team that's like, oh, man, they could win the Super Bowl. No, there's none of that going on because no one is fucking consistent. What is up with this NFL? No team across the board is very consistent whatsoever. So I don't even know how to make this top 5, but we're going to try. And here it goes. At number 5, we got the Kansas City Chiefs breaking back into the top 5. They whooped the shit out of the Las Vegas Raiders. And I know Las Vegas is very, very bad. However, they're an NFL team. And when you play an NFL team, you shouldn't allow less than 100 yards of total offense, and that's what the Chiefs did. And Rashid Rice coming back, ooh boy, 2 tutties. He's looking good, and they are rolling again. And the AFC is very weak, and everybody should be worried. Kansas City, number 5. Number 4, we have a newcomer, the New England Patriots, led by Mike Vrabel. Wow. I never thought I'd be saying that in week 8. I just wouldn't. But here we are. New England, 5-2. Drake May playing well. He's doing everything they ask him. I think last week he was 21 of 23. They're not asking him to do more than what's asked of him. Is just dink, dunk, and maybe 3-4 plays a game. Sling it. But just do what we ask of you, and the rest will take care of itself. Defense playing good. Obviously, Mike Vrabel, good defensive coach. And they're playing well. So, number 4, Patriots. Number 3, again, I'm not happy about this, but I'm going to say it. It's the Green Bay Packers. They have the talent, but they're not consistent. And right now, they're 4-1-1. Should be 6-0, but they're 4-1-1, and they haven't played very good football. So that's actually a good thing. Like, if we're winning games and we're not playing well, and we can teach on that and improve and get better, Sky's the limit. But right now, they're just above average. They're not even that a bunch above average. They're just average. Matt LaFleur, you got to show me something. Show me your balls, just like you did last week on 4th down, even though Jordan Love pushed you to do that. You got to be calling games like that more often. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Let's go. Come on, Matty. Let's go. Number 2. Even though I don't know why I have them there when they got whooped by us, but it's the Detroit Lions. They played a really fucking good game on Monday night. Granted, the Buccaneers looked like they didn't even show up. I've never seen Baker Mayfield look that bad. Oh, wait, I did on the Browns. But since then, I haven't seen him that bad, and they made him look really bad. And every other fucking play I look, there's a turnover. What is up with that? Just sloppy play. Once again in the NFL. Weird, like I've been saying. Just weird, terrible, but
You're weird.
Detroit Lions, great job, and you're the number 2 team in the league right now. And number 1, man, oh man, number 1, the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
What the fuck is in the water down in Indianapolis right now? I cannot believe that this team is number 1 in the league, but I've already talked about them. They were the best of the week for me, so I'm not going to ramble on too much about them, but they have the MVP right now. They have the comeback player of the year in Danny Dimes, and they're just playing really cohesive, and their offense is almost unstoppable. That rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, Dog. Wow. Impressive. Colts, number 1 team coming at you. And that's my top 5 of the week.
Beautiful. Wow. Tremendous. Thank you so much, Travis. I'm so glad he sent stuff in. We tried to get him to send something in after week 1 or week 2, those first 2 weeks that we were missing him. Because he was pretty fired up, and yeah, we didn't have him at the time, so I'm glad he sent them in now. Wish we had Winches right now too, but I know he's super busy. He's a busy man. All right, next thing we'll get into right now is our Pick'ems update. It was a good week for me last week, folks. It was a good week. Let me see. I got what did I get last week? Week 7. I had 13 correct out of 15 games. All right. And I picked the Chargers to beat the Broncos. And I picked Pittsburgh to beat the Bengals. So they were close games, though. They were close games. Otherwise, yeah, got everything right. Travis got 12 right last week. Winch got 11 right. So I don't know if you all remember, but before, I was down quite a bit. Now I'm tied for second with Josh. We're down 3 games right now. And last week or 2 weeks ago, when I said on this program, Bears over the Commanders, and those 2 laughed at me. And guess what? I was right. But for some reason, I didn't pick them on our app. So that bit me in the ass there. I thought I picked them on there, and then I checked. I was like, oh, look who won. Look who got that one right. And then I went and checked, and I didn't pick them. So I fucked up. So apologize for that. But, yeah, so right now, updated standings. Travis and me and Josh tied for second. So pretty happy with that. Next, we'll get into our Week 8 preview here. I'm going to be doing most of this, and then we'll our last game that we'll talk about will be the Packers at Steelers, which we have another video from Travis that we'll get to. So number 1, we got the Vikings at the Chargers. That's our Thursday night game. This is in LA. Chargers home field advantage here, sort of. We all know how it goes there in LA. Carson Wentz to get the start. There is potential that the Vikings don't have either their left tackle or their right tackle for that game. So that's going to be interesting. Darisaw ended up on the injury list today. And yesterday, O'Neal was out of practice. And so, yeah, we might have 2 starting guards, and that's it for this next week. So that's going to be exciting. So excited for that. Anywho, yeah, if Carson Wentz can just not turn over the ball, which doesn't seem like that's a thing. Seems like he has to throw at least 1 interception. I think he's averaging like 2 interceptions a game. So if he keeps doing that, Chargers are going to win pretty handily. But if we just take care of the ball, I think if we have a good rushing attack with Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones is designated to come back. So I'm curious if they mix him into the game at all, if he plays at all. But he is off IR, so he is eligible to play in that game. But we'll see. I think the key is just controlling turnovers. I think our Vikings defense can hold them down. But yeah, I think it's just gonna all come down to that offense and not turning the fucking ball over. With that being said, I'll take the Chargers 31-26 over the Minnesota Vikings. Next game we have here is the Bears at the Ravens. This one's a tough one. I think Lamar is back. I think he's still kind of questionable for this game, so he might not play. If Lamar does not play, I got the Bears win this one. But if he does play, then I got the Ravens winning it. But for right now, let's say Lamar is not playing. I'm going to give the Bears the win on this one. I'm going to give them the edge. I know this is in Baltimore, but I think for just how awful the Ravens have been, I think the Bears will be able to put some points on them. So I'm still going to make it pretty close because I don't think the Bears are like a great team by any means, but I'm going to go 33-31 Bears if Lamar is out. If he starts, I will give the Ravens 31-26. Number 3, I got the Bears at the Broncos here. The Cowboys at the Broncos here. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think this is one where, like, Bo Nix could have another big game. He was a stud last week with that comeback win against the Giants. That was super fun to watch. But I think with like Cowboys, high potent offense, terrible defense. So I think this could be a very high scoring game. I'm still going to keep it to 35-27. I'm going to say, I think the Cowboys offense is better than the Broncos offense. Number 4, the Giants at the Eagles here. This is one's interesting just because Dart's in the mix now. Scadaboo's there. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. Just that division rivalry game. Those are always fun, especially in the NFC East. So I think this is going to be a fun game to watch for sure. Maybe game of the week. It's probably not going to be super high scoring though. I got a 28-24 Eagles over the Giants. They're still just figuring out ways to win. So I don't know. We'll see. Number 5, I've got the Packers at the Steelers here. I think people are thinking this is a revenge game for Rodgers kind of thing, but I don't think the Steelers are good enough to beat the Packers. However, this is one of those where I could see it happening as well, but I don't know. I think it's the story writes it. There's a lot of people who are looking for that, wanting that kind of thing, just because revenge is sweet. I think we all love the drama of it kind of thing, but I don't see Rodgers stepping off that field, hanging his head up high, beating the Packers. I don't think that's the case here. I think the Packers overall are better than the Steelers, especially defensive side for the Packers. They could shut down the Steelers probably, but I don't see the Steelers defense shutting down the Packers by any means. There's too many weapons there. Kraft, Jacobs, and plethora of wide receivers in there that get in the mix. Very, very good at throwing to multiple receivers. So, give me the Packers here, 28-27. Real close one. I can see it coming down to field goal at the end there. We'll go to Travis here one more time for his Packers-Steelers preview. And uno momento, por favor. And here we
All right, folks. The game we've all been waiting for. The Green Bay Packers versus the Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend in the Steel City. It's going to be a great game. Obviously, the Steelers playing really well. They are 4-2 right now. And I got to say, I'm impressed with Aaron Rodgers so far. He has looked the part, and he's helping them out. The one thing that the Steelers aren't really doing well that you wouldn't expect is they're not playing any defense. They're giving up 30-some points to a team that never scores in the New York Jets. So it's kind of weird to see that the Steelers all of a sudden are trying to win on offense instead of defense. But you got to expect that when Aaron Rodgers is on the team. It just seems like wherever he goes, the defense just starts to collapse. I mean, we can all relate, right? Right. It's going to be a great game. Packers are favored by 3, even though they are on the road. So they are a road favorite. Home dogs usually do well. The Green Bay Packers have not won a game in Pittsburgh since Bart Starr was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Not the head coach. Not the head coach. The quarterback in 1970.
55 years ago.
The Packers have not won since 1970 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, we don't play there all that often, but that's 55 years we're talking. That's a crazy amount of time. No better time than this week to end that streak. Especially when you know your boy Aaron Rodgers is going to want to stick it to us. Now, I don't think this is the revenge game like we saw with Brett Favre when he came back with the Vikings. And the crowd was just very insane. It was an insane atmosphere, and Favre came in there and lit us up, and it was not fun. This time around, I don't think there's as much animosity. Rodgers got paid. We gave him all he wanted, and then we kindly sent him on his way to the Jets where he wanted to go, and we got 2 first-round picks, or a first-round pick, a second-round pick out of it as well. And the Jets sucked. So I think we made out probably better in that deal. But I'm glad to see that Aaron Rodgers is on a better team now, a better organization, one led by Mike Tomlin, obviously. So it's good to see, even though I have my issues with Rodgers, I still want to see him do well. And I think this is going to be a great game. Keys to the game, I think the Packers got to get on them early, score early and often. If you score early and often, I just feel like Rodgers isn't going to be able to keep up. Now, Kenny, yes, absolutely. Rodgers is averaging 2.3 seconds. He's getting the ball out. That's the fastest in the league, I believe. So what I don't want to see is this Joe Barry style defense playing 15 yards off, because he will dink and dunk us to death if we allow that. We cannot allow that. We need to press man, and we need to get to him. That's going to be the factors of the game. If our defense can get to him, rushing 4, and we can drop back 7, I think we're going to be okay. Now, if we can't get to him, dropping back 4, it could be a long day. And I'm a little scared, because Rodgers has beaten 31 out of 32 NFL teams, and you guessed it. What's the team that he hasn't beat? Well, of course, it's your Green Bay Packers, because he played here for 15 years. We can't have him beat all 32 teams like Favre did, right? No, we can't. And we're not gonna. The Packers are going to fucking win this game. Matt LaFleur is going to fucking coach his ass off like he's never done before. And we're going to kick the living shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend. 30-20. You heard it here. We're going to cover and win decisively by 10. 30-20. The Green Bay Packers win the game. And it's going to be must-see TV. And I can't wait. Get your popcorn ready. Peace.
Love it. Thank you, Travis. As I was listening to that, looked at my sound bar there, meter, and it wasn't showing any sound for that. So I get to edit that now. So yeah, it'll take me a little bit longer to pump this video out, but hey, technical problems happen all the time here, but yeah, whatever, it'll be what it'll be. But yes, once again, thank you, Travis, for sending in those videos. Very much appreciated, so we could have a little more content, not just myself moping about the Vikings. And we're hoping to have the whole gang back this next week. We'll get things right. We'll right the ship and get back on track for the rest of the season. In the meantime, though, I want to thank you all for listening, watching, subscribing, liking, rate, and review. And remember, share. That's always the most important one as we continue our journey through this wonderful, wonderful season of the National Football League. And as for now, that's the last I heard. Thank you.